Hello there. Welcome to this CodeFlow tutorial. And in this CodeFlow tutorial, we're going to be talking about the HTML add element tags. And so let's go. So what do we actually use the HTML head tags for? Most of the time we use them for attaching styles, attaching scripts, a bit of the meta elements, attacking some linking stuffs, some titles, and for the base. I mean, if you check our code and we scroll up to where the head tags are, we can see that we have used a bit of the link and only the style. Okay, so right now let's create a new HTML document, a new file, and I want to select the language. I'm going to write HTML. Okay, and I think we actually want to try and copy this guy. Copy. I'll actually employ you to copy all the tags here until we reach the head tag right here. Just copy it and paste it right in the new document. You can actually save this document. I want to save this and write head tag tests. And so that's all for now. So that's all for that part. So right now let's try to right now we can actually let's just delete this entire style stuff because we don't need it yet, and let's just delete this entire head stuffs. Okay, so we are going to explore the tags one by one. So let's start with the title tag. And I think I've made of what the title actually means. Title actually defines the name of the web page. Title, a head tag test. So by the time we save this and we go to Chrome, okay, we can't go to Chrome yet. So let's go to our folder website project, open the HTML and open this with Google Chrome browser, and you can see that we have our title right here, a head tag test, head tag test. So now actually make use of the title, and so the title is just the text only, and it's just shown in the browser's title bar. So the next one we're going to create is the style, and as I've explained earlier in the HTML styles episode, the styles is used just for attaching a bit of style information, a bit of CSS style to your web page. So we actually use the word style. You can close it, and we're going to enter our HTML styles right within this link. Now the fact that we're not actually going to be standing much, but anyway, let's just enter a simple body tag. Okay, and in the middle of the body tag, let's create our heading h1. That's not how to create our heading, h1, and we close it, and we can write this is a simple style test, and we can actually just save this. And now in the style we can actually create what we want to create. Let's actually try to style the body itself, the body of the HTML file itself, the HTML file. So let's just open the brackets and the parentheses, and let's add in a background color. So we want the background color of brown. We want the page to be brown, and also we can also style the h1 element, and we can actually give it, we want the text color, to be blue. So once we save this and we go back to our Chrome and we preview this, we can see that we have a red page and a blue color. So basically we actually use this head tag. Everything is still contained within this head, like this head tag. Okay, so basically that's one part of the style for the head tag. Another one we're going to explore is known as the link, and what the link actually does most of the time is just to link things to the document. A very good example is when if you check here, we actually use it to link the external style sheet. So we use the word link, and once we write link, we can close it. And but in the link, in part of the attribute, we can just relate it, and we can add in the style sheet we want to add in. Okay, just write style sheet. Okay, style sheet. If you want to add a script, you can just type in script. But anyway, let's just write style sheet for this one. Style sheet, and we can send in a link, a very good link for our style sheet, href, and you can just put a slash and find our style sheet. But anyway, we've explored how to do that in the HTML style tutorial, so make sure you check that particular tutorial. So basically, this is just what the link actually does. The next one we have is the meta tag. The meta human, meta, I know metaphysical, but the meta tag actually is not visible in the web page, but it helps the website as a whole. Okay, it's used by browsers to display content and to reload pages, and also used by search engines for the keywords. I mean the SEO aspect. And what the meta tag actually does is that it actually helps you to specify the character set, the page description, the keywords, and the viewport settings, and totally the author of the entire web page. So definitely we have a bit of some meta tags that you can actually add. It's form of, like, let me say, attributes that you can add to make it to look quite okay. So right now, let's actually set some of those meta tags. Let's try and add a bit of some meta tag. So we'll use the keyword meta. I mean, this is where Facebook actually got its name from, meta. And you can see it has this close. It doesn't have the start, so it doesn't have a closing tag. So we can add in a bit of an attribute known as the char set. And what the char set does is that it just gives a bit of the encoding of the web page. And I want to set this to capital letter UTF and 8. And that's just the meta char set. I can also decide to, set in the meta name. I want the meta. I want to set in. Let me close this to make it easy. I want to set in the meta name. I want the meta name to be website description. That's the name of the meta. And also I want to set in another meta again. I can decide to set in a meta name. And I can write in maybe a bit of the author. Okay, author. And I want to write in the content of the web page. I want to write Pyrrhus code flow. So basically, I mean, we're actually exploring a bit of what meta tag does. This won't be visible in our site, but it will be visible to the search engines and to be used by them for the things it wants to be used for. So basically, we can actually change this name to keywords, we can change it to descriptions, many other things. But anyway, just the content that matters. The content really, really matters. So when you actually write the name, you should actually add a bit of a content to it. So what is the content of this tutorial? So the content of the attributes, the content of the meta attribute. You can write free programming tutorials. If we save this and we go to our Chrome, we're not seeing much, just this boring page. So that's just how the meta tag works. So next one actually is that we can actually set the viewport. I mean, this will be very good to you if you want to act with the responsiveness of your browser. So you can actually set the meta name, where you can have what we call meta name, and set it to viewport. Okay, and we can set the content of the viewport. You can just say, just width, the width equals to the device. Okay, and we can set it to the same width again, and with a comma. And we can give it an initial scale. But first, you should actually have something in the middle here. Initial scale, and we can equal it to 1.0. And basically, we can just close the tag. And basically, this will actually help you more in terms of your responsiveness and things in which your display should change in terms of the device you're actually using. So anyway, this is just a bit of what the meta tag can actually do. You can use it more when you actually want to do the styling and the rest of the stuff. Actually, the one that we have actually made use of in the recent time, we actually have this this edge tag called the script, and this will actually be used to write scripts. When we're actually talking about HTML scripts, that means you should have checked the tutorial that deals with the HTML script. That's where you actually use the script elements to add in a bit of a script to the page. To the page. So we are moving to the last one, and the last one is known as the base. So let me just delete this and let me create a space. And we have what we know as the base, and what the base basically does is that it sets like a link that every link, once a link cannot load, like it specify a default URL that every link can load to. Actually, if maybe something happened and they don't load to it, it can actually load to that particular link. So we can just say base, and we can set the link href for the link, and we can set maybe https and the semicolon, those colon and those two slashes and www.chaos.blogspot.com. Wow, this is quite amazing. And we can set in the target for the link, the target for the link, and we can set it to blank. We actually talk about this when we're actually talking about link. Blank actually means that the page actually opens to a new page or opens to the same page or something like that. So definitely that's actually all your part of the HTML links. Check out our HTML link tutorials and check about what the blank page totally means. So definitely that's all about the base tag, and so that's all about the HTML head tag. Talk about the HTML head tag. So in the next tutorial, we're going to talk about the HTML canvas. So I'll see you in the next episode.